Hello and a very warm welcome back to Huw's Nursery. Now in the UK we've been experiencing some hot and dry weather, which has inspired me to create this video to do with dealing with water shortages and dealing with droughts and trying to lessen the impacts of both of these. So I'm going to be talking about three key strategies, and the first strategy is the watering strategy. So when it rains, sometimes up to 60% of the water can be lost due to evaporation, and that's a huge amount. So what you need to do is to not water during the day. If you're experiencing periods of really warm weather, then what I'd recommend you do is to either water at dusk or at dawn, so really early in the morning or quite late in the evening. So this will just reduce evaporation. This is particularly key for if you live in a place of water stress and water shortages. So what you need to do is just ensure that you only water in the morning and in the evening so you can save as much as possible. The second strategy is the protection strategy, and this is by protecting your soil from losing water. Kind of similar to watering, but I think these two strategies go hand in hand. What you need to do, and I speak a lot about this on this channel, is mulch. And the thing about mulch is that there are so many benefits and positives to it. And what you want to do if you are experiencing droughts or periods of prolonged dry weather, you want to make sure that you protect the surface of your soil. So if you use organic and natural materials such as grass clippings or hay or straw, then what you want to do is create a 2 to 3 inch layer, so about 5 to 7 centimeters thick, and this will be a really good insulation. You can even use things such as old carpet, you can use newspaper or cardboard. There are many different things that you can use, but all you want to do is just simply think about it where you're protecting the soil, where it's not being exposed anymore to the air. And what this does is it retains moisture, so it basically acts as insulation, but by retaining moisture within the soil. And by doing that, it means that you don't have to water as often, and plants will be able to cope for longer periods of time during drought. The third strategy is a prevention strategy, and this is if you're noticing that droughts are becoming more and more regular, or periods of long dry weather, maybe your rainfall is beginning to reduce over the years. And this is something where you really just, all you need to do, it's really simple, and I've given a couple of links down in the video description, is to look at plants which are best suited for your environment, because there's no point growing something which is really water thirsty when you've barely got any water to give it. So a really good thing to do is to grow plants that are native to your local area, and this is something quite interesting in California, where it's called xeriscaping, where people are encouraged to rip up their lawns and plant local and native plants to that area, and these are a lot more suited to the conditions, which means there's less irrigation, so there's more water in the waterboard. And there's two other things I quickly want to go over. The first one is shade. Shade is really important, and especially if you live in a hotter climate, I reckon every single garden should have shade. And what we have is, we have this corner here, we've got some trees which are casting shade, and what this does is cool down the air, which means there's less evaporation then, and it basically acts as a natural cooler, where cool air will circulate around your garden, and that will reduce evaporation rates. Now another thing that's quite interesting is weeds, and if you live in an area which does have a lot of hot weather, then you want to make sure that there are least weeds as possible. However, try not to weed during a drought, because what this does is that will expose a lot of the soil, and then that will then mean that even more moisture can escape. So if you really have to weed during a drought, then I recommend you do it and immediately put a layer of mulch over the top. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I really hope that these simple tips have given you some ideas for what you can do to reduce the impacts of drought in your garden, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.